Welcome back, everybody. This is Llama Paints Minis, and I am going to do an unboxing and review of the Warhammer Quest DarkWater set. Now, I didn't get a copy of this early like so many of our fortunate fellows on the internet, but I did get one now as a Christmas gift. Thank you. You know who you are. Obviously, it's a game within itself. Here are the heroes. One of the fellows, it looks like Drasher Vorn, somehow was like pre-clipped out of the sprue. He's the sort of monster, half man. But this sprue, this off-white colored plastic, contains all the heroes. The basically trademarked Edmark Valorin, who's that knight with the plumed helm, Bren Tillis, the warrior for hire, Inara Scion, the priestess, Drolf Ironhead, the dwarf, Jacobus Vine, the mage, Kelthanor, the centaur with a bow, and then, of course, Drasher Vorn, who for some reason was pre-clipped. And you can pick any assortment of them to play the different scenarios in the game, and it does look like it's got some replayability. But of course, what interested me most, perhaps, are the Nurgle side of it, since I have a Mega Kingdom Nurgle army in Age of Sigmar. This first sprue here has Gelgus Pust, Belga the Sistwitch, and Shaman Foulhoof all on the same sprue. Now, for the purposes of Quest, obviously that doesn't matter, but the significance of this is a lot of these models are being sold separately alongside the hefty Maggot Kingdom Nurgle release. Those three are sold in one box together. Now, in-game, you don't have to take them together. They're each individual heroes. More on that another time. This sprue I'm looking at now has Molgoth the Cleaver, who is a hero in Warhammer Quest, as well as his Blight Templars. Now, in Age of Sigmar proper, unfortunately, these are not unique. As far as I can tell, from what I've seen of the leaks of the book, Molgoth does not have his own stat line, and the Blight Templars are not their own unit. They just are alternatives for other heroes on foot or Putrid Blight Kings. This here, we've got, sort of like the Cultist and the Pestigors. They're otherwise pretty neat. They all have rules in Age of Sigmar. They're pretty basic infantry. The Pestigors have their own module with the Shaman Foulhoof that sort of benefit them. But unlike most Gors, they don't have like a run and charge ability, so we will see if they are good, I guess points depending. And then the little like human cultists. So for those who remember the Rotmire Creed that came from Warcry and are now a part of the Maggot Kingdom Nurgle army, they are human cultists that follow Nurgle. But they basically have like blow darts, ranged weapons that can apply diseased to enemy units. So they want to kind of skirt around the front lines and stick people with darts and then make them sick. These other ones are combat, but they're just meat shields. They don't have good stats. These models here on the sprue, the Cankerborn, are some of my favorite, a very unique design. These are basically earth elementals that Nurgle has animated or possessed with demons. So they have these like they're three-headed, so they look kind of like plague bearers in terms of their heads, but then they are essentially earth elementals that are just plagued with Nurgle. He's used the realm of life. He's possessed the very realm itself. Pretty neat. Also pretty hard hitting in the game. As you can see with the rest of the quest box here, you got a pile of bases for everything, and then this is the box that contains the unique dice. So there's a couple of dice unique to the gameplay itself. I don't fully know how those function yet. I haven't gotten a chance to play a game yet. But then it also includes a pile of regular D6s, which we're all familiar with. The contents of this are pretty robust. I was relatively surprised when I opened the box to feel how heavy it was, and that even when you remove all those model sprues, there's still so much going on underneath. As you can see here, you remove this sort of cover, and it's like a giant folder. It's got this cool artwork on it, but it's like a giant folder. And when you open it, inside, we'll get to those contents in a second, contains all of the card packs and everything that you need to play. Quick start guide here makes it real easy. I mean, the basic format and flow of the game is all laid out, front and back. Kind of dictates the flow of the game. You are the heroes going against a common enemy. And then what surprised me is that the maps, or the tiles that you use, come as part of this like giant book that actually felt really nice, really high quality. got sort of this, it's got this really cool artwork on the front. It's got like a soft touch cover. And then, yeah, it contains the map tiles. Everything you need to play every scenario. Now, I've heard some people refer to this as, you know, it's a one-off board game. GW is using it as a vehicle to sell a bunch of push-fit minis on us, and basically we pay a tax of all this other crap included. And it's really not. Like, the game itself is one of the more in-depth standalone games that they've made. Not only are there multiple acts, there are multiple scenario cards that can affect how each map plays. And as you can see, just the sheer number of maps. So it can go very differently. And since you have 7 heroes to choose from, and a lot of the missions don't use the full 7, again, every game can go a little bit different. Maybe some of the same tactics work for defeating the bosses, but again, I've only got limited experience with it. So you can see this folder here, great artwork of Mr. Gelgus Pust there. And so these Act 1 cards, so those are the cards that will kind of dictate how the first game goes. And then you can see, as I struggled here to try to get this out without just tipping the whole thing over or getting a nasty paper cut, there's the Act 2, and it specifically says on there, do not open until you have completed Act 1. And then there's another stack in there just like that. I really enjoy that. That's kind of neat. So again, it gives you a bit of a flow. More better cards for Game 1. And then this one is another one. Bonus cards, do not open until you've completed. And then there's a whole Act 2 set of cards, very similar. Yeah, I didn't tear them open for you guys here on camera because I'm still waiting before I go and take a crack at playing the game. I was also trying to get these Nurgle models ready so that I could have them for my Age of Sigmar army to give them a try there. We know the new Battle Tome is coming out soon. And so it might be beneficial to get a second set, hint hint, of this if you would like to play the game itself and then maybe have the minis as part of your army. Of course, you could use the minis for both. I just know I'm very protective and don't like my models getting beat up, so we'll see how I go about that. But if you have any suggestions or comments about how I should paint them, I'd be more than interested to have your feedback if you guys would like. But yeah, that was the Warhammer Quest DarkWater box, all the contents. I hope you guys get your hands on a copy. This actually looks like a lot of fun, and the minis are great, as with a lot of Games Workshop plastics that are sort of heroes. Very crisp detail, very cool details, dynamic poses, fun to paint. And we've seen a lot of people show off Mr. Gelgus Pust already. And as far as I can tell from the rules they've shown on the Warhammer community site, he looks really good in Age of Sigmar. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Watch the next one.